Today, I'm going to do a quick demo of some of the features of the Zoom H2n handy recorder. I have some of the accessories here that you'll need. This is mainly for recording in a few different situations, and we're going to try to set this up rather quickly so that you can have a nice quick setup and you can switch setups around if you need to. First of all, let's take a little quick tour of the H2n itself. You do have a line in if you want to plug in a microphone. It does have 5 mic capsules, which gives it the mid side, and also you can do 2-channel and 4-channel surround. The nice thing about this particular unit is it does tell you which mic capsules, the nice little pointer here, it will tell you which mic capsules are active when you set it up. So for the most part, when you're recording man on the street or you're doing other things like a room, something like that, you want to try to capture as much as you can, and make it as easy as possible, and this does do that. So you have some volume control for your line out, for your headphones. You can plug in a pair of earbuds or headphones in there to monitor the signal going in. I do recommend monitoring it. It will help you a little bit. This is a menu button for changing your different settings and your playback. It has a nice mic gain wheel. If you look here, the dot on the mic gain wheel is kind of where that gain is at that time, so it'll go all the way through. You can adjust the gain on the fly then and kind of move some things around. And then here's the power button, record button on front, so it's got pretty simple controls all around. So let's turn this puppy on and see what we got. Now, I usually set up my recordings for what I'm going to, for what my end result is, and most of the time, like, I'm recording for video, so I set it at set, and you'll see it tells you that there's an indicator right down here that tells you that this is 4824 is what I'm set for. But I'm going to go into the menu since we're going to look at be looking at recording for radio. We want to record at 44, so we want to go into back that up for a second. This is the main menu. So you want to go here. There's folder where I usually leave it default. I don't worry about which folder I'm going to put stuff in. File name if you want to change that. Record input, some metronomes, and under the tool menu, some systems, and then some SD card and USB controls, which we're not going to worry about today. We're really worried about the recording format. So I want to go into the recording format. I don't necessarily use auto record or pre-record. It's not something that I use, but certainly it's something you can investigate on your own. Now, as I said, I like to record wave. It's an uncompressed sound, so when you're recording wave, it makes it much easier when you go back to edit. It's a little bit cleaner than compressing it. So for the station, we usually end up recording it in 4416. You can get a little bit more of a range out of it if you go 44.1 24-bit. So give that a try. We'll just leave that on as a recording format, and it'll tell you, hey, you're set for 44.124. Now we can go home. Now, if you're doing a lot of man on the street, one of the things I would recommend on man on the street is kind of set for 2-channel. And on 2-channel, you'll see that these light up. And one of the things about the H2 is that I really like is when you can see the mic capsules when you're pegging, when you're clipping. When you're hitting the top of your meters there, these flash. Unfortunately, with the windscreen, if you're going to be outside and you're doing man on the street, and you're going to put the windscreen on, you no longer can see that. That's no longer there. And I do recommend the windscreen. One of the things I recommend if you're doing this on outside is to use the windscreen. The windscreen is really going to help if there's a little bit of wind. It's also going to soften some of the pops that come out with your P's and also your S's and things, so it should make it a little bit better. One of the things that you can do on your record, let's see, let me pull up the input menu. One of the things I would do if you're in a windy area is turn on or even if there's a lot of noise in the area, is turn on the low cut filter. The low cut's going to get out some of the lower end channels and stuff, going to take away some of the stuff, just make things sound a little bit better. On your comp limiter, if you're going out, I would generally put a general limiter on also if you're going to do when you're doing man on the street and you're kind of walking around and stuff, because that will keep you from pegging out. It looks like it's recording low, but really it's not. And then what you can do is, I like this little handle because then I can hold this like this when I'm talking to somebody. I can see what my levels are. I can see what's going, and just use the mic as I get closer to the person. I can hold it closer to them if I see that my levels aren't high, or I can bring it closer to me and kind of use it sort of as a handheld microphone and still be able to see everything. And with the 2-channel surround turned on, you can use both sides of the mic. So you talk into one side and the other person talks into the other side, and you just kind of hold it up and you use the mic itself as to set your levels. You could pull your gain, keep your gain around midpoint. You can pull that gain up or down as you need it. But for the most part, the compressor and the limiter is going to keep you from pegging out and getting too bad audio. But this is actually set up pretty nice this way for a nice man on the street. So that's how I would set it up for man on the street. And there you go. It's really that easy to use. You just hit the record button with your thumb and you're on your way. Now, I would use 2-channel surround also if you're doing like a tabletop interview. So you have somebody, you're sitting in a table, but at this point I would use, you can put it on a stand. The accessory kit comes with a little stand, which is really nice because you can just twist it on the stand here. And we'll just twist it on the stand. And then you have a nice little stand for your mic that you can kind of just play around with and keep it on the stand. And I don't know, you can't. Let me tilt this up a little bit. And you can see that that's going to just sit on the stand just like that. Again, keeping on 2-channel surround. One of the things about if you're just doing a tabletop where it's just you and another person, what I would do is, again, get into that input menu, which is just by hitting the menu and then the play button, and turn on auto gain. Turn on auto gain with the meeting setting. Now that's going to be pretty good for recording most audio. It's going to be, you won't be able to use the low cut or the compressor limiter, but it's going to auto gain. So you don't have to worry about gain. You don't have to worry about turning the little knob on the side to try, is that person talking who's sitting in front of me? Are they talking okay? Can I hear them? The other thing I would do, just to minimize, is use the remote. The remote is really nice because one of the things the remote has when you're working on it is you can actually hit mark and it'll mark segments, and it saves those marks to the WAV files. If you have an audio program that reads the marks, then you'll be able to pick those up. But it also gives you a nice little pause button and a record button you can use without, and it's a pretty good lengthy cord. So you can sit pretty decent, like put the mic in the middle of a table when you got with a person across from you, or 1 or 2 people across from you, or a group of people even, and just have to hit the record button, and you won't have to worry about bumping the unit or anything like that. And it'll pretty much take care of itself when you're using this setting. You just have to sort of set it and just let it run, and then you hit the record button again to stop recording. So it really is easily, like I hit the record button now, so I'm recording a little bit of audio, that's okay. But I can hit the record button and it'll, again, start, and then just let it run. There you go. You're just setting a record, and it sets everything up for you. It's giving an auto gain on me. I mean, I won't use this audio for the video, but we could take a look at it. I can pop it up if I need to pop it up, but it's right there. It's showing me it's getting decent gain from what I'm trying to do. I'm not pegging the meters or anything. It's pretty much taking care of itself on auto gain. And you can turn that, just hit a button, and that should pretty much work out for you. Just using that setting, that surround 2 setting, the 2-channel surround at the top, because that usually will work out the best. Using the remote for like a group of people, if you're doing a round table or something like that, the mics are really decent. They'll pick up good voice, and they really do a good job. So for the man on the street, though, again, because you're going to probably be outside, you're going to be talking to people outside of places, I would make sure I have the windscreen on and use the handle because it'll minimize a lot of noise going through the mics itself when you're trying to hold it like this. And the handle's nice because it just makes it a little bit easier to hold when you're kind of doing that stuff. It just makes it a little bit easier to kind of give that mic feel to it too. Makes it easier to manipulate the recorder. So it really does. It is a really nice unit, nice feature in that way that they put that in the accessory kit. Or if you need to, you can stick it on a mic stand and do some stuff on a mic stand. But that's it. Most of the time, if you keep it on 2-channel surround, you'll be fine. You're going to get a stereo recording. You can mix it down to mono recording when we go to edit. And that's about it. And keep it at 44:124. You're going to have plenty of space on a SD card. I've got like 8 hours on this particular card, and I'm not using a pretty large card. I think it's only 8 gigs. So you got a lot of space using 44:1. But just to remember, just to recap a little bit, when you're out on the man on the street, I would definitely turn off auto gain, turn on low cut, and turn on a general limiter just to keep things from pegging out. And then when you're so that's going to set things up for you. And then basically set your gain, I would say around like 5 or between like 5 or 6, and then just use the mic back and forth. Use the mic distance to get a better level. So if you person sounds too low, put the mic a little bit closer so the meters are looking a little low. If the person is too hot, if there's like shouting, you can pull back a little bit on the mic. Just use good mic technique to kind of play with that level rather than trying to play with the gain while you're talking to somebody or while you're asking questions or doing an interview. So that's pretty much it. That's the simplest setup for a man on the street. Tabletop. Again, if you're looking at tabletop, we'll just recap that really quick. Go to your input menu and turn on auto gain for meeting. And then it'll pretty much, there might be a little bit of a delay as it picks up, as you saw right there. It tries to pick up the volume. Here's the person speaking. I'll put this farther away. It's still going to try to put it to the volume. I'll put it closer. It's going to adjust the volume. So it's going to stay within that range that as far as I'm talking. And it's going to pick up no matter what you do. It's going to adjust all by itself. So you can put it in the middle of a table, hook the remote up, and go to town. But keeping it on that surround means it's going to record everything around you. It's going to record you. It's going to record everybody who speaks. And that's probably the best that you can do in these situations rather than trying to figure, okay, which mic capsule am I on? What do I need to see? Just keep it on 2-channel stereo, surround stereo, and it picks up everything. It's like an omnidirectional mic, which is really, really good for the field work that you want to do.